Hello all, Shalom Aleichem. I'm on my way to work. I haven't really had a lot of time to record anything lately. Been starting a new job anyway, so I just wanted to say something in regards to all of the anti-Semitic everything that's going on right now. And I keep going back and forth in my head, like, what do I want to say? How do I want to... I only have my 2 cents, and there's a lot of world and darkness that has their own want to say things, and I'm not even going to go into the history of Israel. I'm not even going to go into the real biblical accounts of thousands of years of ownership of the land given by God, because nobody wants to hear that, because nobody believes in God anymore. So what I do want to say is this: the Jews are under a perpetual attack, and this is Hanukkah, and so during Hanukkah we read the Maccabees, and right now Greg and I are reading 2nd Maccabees every night after we light the candles and say the prayers and blessings and read scriptures, which this is all about understanding God's grace and mercy on our struggle, even though we sin atrociously against Him. But the thing that just really sticks out to every single thing that I just think it's astonishing that nobody with any kind of common sense is actually focusing on, and this is where my mind goes. Like I said, I'm setting all the history behind the biblical religious aspects, the faith-based things, just to point out something. And what I'm pointing out is the constant attack on the Jews, the constant anti-Semitic rhetoric from every side of every political aspect now, the conspiracy theorists, the propaganda. It's all it's evil, it's propaganda, it's against God, because truth be told, and you're either going to believe this or not, because either you believe in Him or you don't, is that when you turn against Israel, you literally turn against God. But sorry, that's not the point. I'm trying not to lead this road. This is where my head goes, is that all these attacks that are happening to Israel and all of the massacres that are happening to a very small population in Israel and in the rest of the world, comparative to the whole of the world. I don't have any statistics right now, so I can't sit here and show you what the numbers are statistically, like in all of the world, because like I said, I just jumped on here to just make a comment. It's just something to think about. But so a very small population. I mean, even if you were to look at Israel as a whole in the Middle East, it's surrounded by nothing but massive Muslim countries. I mean, it's literally in the middle and surrounded by all sides, minus the Med, by Egypt, by Jordan, by Syria, by Iran, by Iraq. You go and then you start going into, Kyrgyzstan and all of the other areas, and you go into Asia. So there's this little itty bitty country, and I'm just talking about Israel. I'm not talking about the rest of the world, okay? Well, I guess the reason why I'm saying this is because an example for the rest of the countries in the world, to show the size differential between Israel and the rest of the surrounding populace. Because if you go and look at a map of Israel and look at the countries that surround Israel, Israel is a thumbnail. It's literally the size of New Jersey. And all of these other areas all around Israel are Muslim. It's the truth. So taking that into consideration, using Israel as an example for the rest of the countries around the world, the Jewish population is a thumbnail. It truly is. I mean, yes, we have our neighborhoods, we have our synagogues, we have all of that, which are minute, to say the least. Now, there are some large synagogues in richer neighborhoods like New York. There are smaller synagogues in the middle of nowhere. Most every synagogue that starts a place of worship or a shul of learning the Torah is a Torah scroll. A lot of congregations around the world, and I'm not talking about the Messianic aspect. I'm talking about just the Orthodox, Reformed, different sects of Judaism. It's very small. And if you do go to the Bible and any aspect of any of this, he talks about picking the smallest country or the smallest inhabitants of the world. He didn't go to these large countries, okay? And so there's a split between the Arabs and the Jews, even though they're both the seed of Abraham. They both come from Abraham. Ishmael and Isaac both came from the seed of Abraham. They're both his sons. But biblically speaking, this was way before the Quran showed up in 600 AD. Isaac was chosen, and Ishmael was told to leave with his mother Sarah. I mean, Sarah, sorry, that's Hagar, sorry. Isaac's mother was Sarah. Anyway, so my point being, sorry, I'm getting on these tangents, is that the minuteness of the Jews and the global, as they're calling it, infantata against the Jews for the Palestinians, okay, which no other country of their Muslim native religion wants them to be a part of. None of the surrounding Muslim countries wants anything to do with Palestine, okay? But here, do you see, knowing the geography and the population of the smallest population of the world, and knowing all this, and all of these protestings and all these attacks on the Jews, where are the attacks from the Jews on the Muslims? I mean, yes, we went into Gaza after October 7th to destroy one of the worst terrorist organizations on the face of the earth, which they do it to their own citizens. So excluding that, all that nonsense, excluding all of that, where are all of the attacks on all of the Muslims from the Jews? Because, you know, we're colonizers, supposedly, and all these narratives. We're colonizers, right? So if we're colonizers, then where are we? Where's all the killings across the world from Jews?
Why does it seem like they're trying to fight so hard from putting that motivation out there? And how is it that...
I don't even know where that came from. Sorry. I'm trying to park here. So such a small, minute minority in all of the world that keeps getting killed all over the world. I mean, there's even a ceasefire over in the Middle East right now. with Gaza. But Jews still continue to get murdered. Mass. And everybody's like, well, what about all of the, Palestinians and all this other stuff? Well, you know what? Unfortunately, unbeknownst to reality, nobody really knows what's going on in the Middle East because they've never been. And they don't understand what it's like to be rocketed. I mean, Israel had 4,000 rockets sent on them after October 7th. It wasn't just the October 7th attack. They still had to protect themselves for months. It wasn't just one day. And all over the globe, Jews are being persecuted. I saw this morning, and I posted it this morning, about an attack on a subway car on some Jewish boys, teenagers, and some men coming back from a Hanukkah lighting because they were Jews. They weren't attacking anybody. They weren't screaming infantata. They weren't screaming from the river to the sea. They were just going home.